I feel this is the best Broken Hope album in my career. I'm very happy with it.
Oh, that's great. So you released this new song, Ghastly, and as a the dance of this new album. You say that it was your favorite track from Omen of the Seas. Do you think that this song sets the mood for the whole album?
I think it definitely sets the mood for the whole album. There's, I can tell you this, even though Ghastly might be my personal favorite song,
Yeah.
I'm in love with every song on the album. In fact, Jorge, this is the first album that I can say I would love to play the entire album live.
Oh, that's
I could,
great.
yeah. I can't say I've never said that about any of our previous albums, but this album, yes, I would be so happy to play the whole album live because I really love every single song on the album. I think Ghastly um, definitely sets the mood for the entire album. Um, but each song has its own identity, and it Ghastly is just an example of the I guess the brutality you can expect on Omen of Disease.
Exactly. Well, right now you're in October when the album is going to be released. You're doing a tour with Decide. Are you planning to play the whole album in its entirety?
No, unfortunately, because we're not headlining, we're supporting direct support to Deicide, so we only get to play like 45 minutes every night.
Right.
So because of that, we don't have enough time to do the whole album. I mean, we could play the whole album live, but then we wouldn't have time to play any of our older material,
Yes.
which is also very important for Broken Hope concert. We want to make sure we play many of the old songs that the fans like and that we like to play. So for the Deicide tour, I can tell you we're going to do probably 3 or 4 new songs
Yes.
in concert, and then the rest will be all old material from the previous albums. It should be a good mix. The lyrics, everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I totally understand. You also tap James Murphy to mix and master this new album. And was he your first choice?
Well, he was. I can tell you this: when we tracked the album, when we recorded the
Yeah.
drums, the guitars, vocals, bass, when we had everything recorded and we had the rough mix from the studio engineer, what we did was we contacted 5 different people that we wanted test mixes from.
Yes.
So we sent, the song "The Flesh Mechanic."
Yes.
We sent that song to James Murphy and 4 other engineers around the world, or not engineers, but producers around the world to mix the Flesh Mechanic. So after we received 5 test mixes of the Flesh Mechanic, I got to tell you, honestly, James Murphy was the best test mix. It was incredible. It was loud. It was clear. It was heavy. It sounded so much better than everybody else. We were like, man, easy decision. We're going to go with James Murphy. So that's how we actually got James Murphy. He actually gave us a test mix, and it was the best thing we could have hoped for. And now he's done the whole album, and man, we are so happy with his work.
Cool. Yeah. It totally makes
Yeah.
an impact on the song.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Jeremy, just to finish this interview, one more question. Do you actually miss something from the death metal scene in the 90s that we don't have right now?
What I think one thing that's missing, Jorge,
Yeah.
a real thing that's missing, and I'd like to know what you think of this, but this is my point of view. After experiencing the '90s death metal scene, recording in a death metal band, touring in a death metal band, but also being hugely inspired by great death metal bands, Morbid Angel, Carcass, et cetera, et cetera. I think there's an element of of scariness missing from death metal. And what I mean by that is there was a time when you would see Deicide, like with the Hoffman brothers on guitar and stuff,
Yeah.
and you would think they were the scariest, meanest bastards in death metal. Same with Morbid Angel. They used to be so evil. I mean, Trey used to cut himself with a razor on stage.
Yeah.
Not saying that that's something you want to do for the rest of your life, but my point is, regardless of him cutting himself, they had a no-nonsense attitude. Their attitude was like, we're fucking evil and we're a death metal band. We're extreme. Same with Carcass. Carcass, back in the day, they had an element of gore that no one could touch, and I think they actually have kind of recaptured it with their new album, which is good. But the point is, so many bands just had an element of ferocity where, you know what it is? It's not just scariness, Jorge.
Yeah.
It's bands seem to take themselves more seriously in the 90s than they do now. For Broken Hope, have you seen our new photos?
Yeah.
We wanted to do something to set the bar with imagery. We've never been a band that had done anything visually horror-wise. Like this time we used an actual special effects crew with prosthetics on our faces.
Yes, I'm watching the pictures right now, actually.
Yeah, we wanted to look like we were diseased, like we had the Black Plague and Ebola upon us. We wanted to look like a death metal band that reflected our music and lyrics. And we take death metal very seriously. For me personally, Jorge, death metal is my favorite genre. Death metal is in my blood. Broken Hope is in my DNA. It's part of my soul. And you had asked me a very, very good question. What's missing from death metal is so many bands don't take the music seriously enough.
Yeah.
And all they care about is more of the business. Music business is important, believe me, because we have to tour, and we have to put on a good show. We have to put out albums, and we have to, if we want to continue to do shows and to put out albums, we have to be part of the business. So business, don't get me wrong, is very important. However, business should never prioritize over taking your music and your band seriously. And that's what's missing, because many bands don't take themselves seriously. Some bands even put out albums like it's a joke. And for me, fuck that, man. That's what's missing from the 90s. And I'm hoping, my friend, that we, Broken Hope, have carried an element of the 90s within our spirit, within Omen of Disease, and with how we how we act and work as a band. You know what I mean?
Exactly, man, and I think you really
Yeah.
do. For me, for example, is that in the 90s, with the death metal releases and concerts, you can feel that the music was really dangerous. Like going, even just going to a show was dangerous.
Yes. Yes.
That's the thing.
Absolutely.
That's the thing that you miss from those days, maybe.
Right.
Exactly. It's just
Exactly.
exactly, man.
Yeah. Exactly. You're exactly right. Before I let you go, I'll give you one example real quick.
Yeah.
We're doing a tour with Deicide and Broken Hope. We have like full production. You know what I mean? Like huge backdrop with
Yeah.
the Broken Hope logo. We have like on our album cover the tombstones. You know, you see all the graves underneath the Omen of Disease, that creature. You know, on the album cover.
Yes.
All the we have our so on stage we have our logo backdrop. We have a bunch of tombstones from a graveyard. You know,
Yeah.
we've got the cover art in banners in front of our cabinets, and you know we have lights and smoke and stuff to to give the fans one their money's worth. Like when the fans come to see Broken Hope on Omen of Disease tour anywhere worldwide, they're gonna visually see, wow, you know, fucking Broken Hope, man. They really brought on a great production.
Yes.
And of course, we're gonna when we play the music, you know, we're gonna be relentless and we want to be dangerous. And that's us. That's our personal thing. We want to leave people going, holy shit, did you see Broken Hope last night? They were amazing. Now, Deicide, they don't care for that stuff anymore. I talked to, you know, Glenn Benton, and he's like, no, we're just going on stage and we're gonna play. That's it. So, and they're the headliners, so that's fine if that's what they wish to do. Uh, that's their attitude. But Broken Hope, we want to bring back the danger, and that's what makes us different than even Deicide or any other band, you know. So you and me, we think the same.
Great. It sounds great. So you might as well bring your